Hello everybody, and welcome to this quick tutorial on the topic of 5 visual communication tools to enhance your organization's external communications. My name is Sean Asala. Everybody calls me Sean. I'm a medical doctor turned visual communication evangelist. That's how I like to describe myself. I love to help organizations and individuals to tell important stories through a variety of visual media. And this is because I believe that what we communicate and how we communicate is really very important in today's society. It's so important for solving the problems that we face today in our society. Communication is very vital. Communication is very key. And that's why I have pledged myself to learning ways of communicating important information, and visual communication for me holds it. Is the icing on the cake. For me is the part that's so really important for me. We're going to dive straight in because this is supposed to be a very quick tutorial. I'm using XMind to make this presentation. In case you've never heard of XMind, XMind is another very useful tool. It's a brainstorming tool, and it's also a visual communication tool, so you might want to check that out. I'll leave the link in the description to XMind. Let's go straight in. So 5 visual communication tools to enhance your organization's external communications. Why visual communications? Well, visual communication tools play a very crucial role in enhancing an organization's external communications by making information more engaging, more memorable, and easily digestible by the audience or for the audience. So it's really important, because if you're an organization out there, you know, whether you're an international NGO or a local community-based organization, or just even a group, a cycling group, a fitness group, a gym, whatever organization or group of people, you are always generating information, whether it's information about the work you're doing, whether it's information about some research you're doing, or whether it's information about a particular solution or intervention, a health intervention. It could be a public health intervention. It could be a public health program where you're providing critical care to people in need. It could be a corporate organization like a government institution, or even just a private business. Everybody is always generating information about the kind of services you offer. You're generating information about the kind of results you're getting. You're generating information about the things you're learning. You're generating information about things that you think your customers should know, because you want them to come to you and you're able to provide help for them. Now, if you're in the business of generating information, just as I have described, you will know that you need to make sure that the information you're generating is reaching your audience in a very engaging way, in a way that grabs their attention, right? So they're not just swiping to the right or to the left whenever they come across your information. They're actually engaged. They want to hear more about what you have to say. They want to see more of your results. They want to hear more about the impact that your organization is making. And so very important for you to be able to engage your audience very well. And this is where visual communication comes in, because visual communication makes your information more memorable. It's easy for them to remember. It makes your information more digestible by the audience, and it makes your information to have its intended impact. All right. So that's why we're going to visual communication. And I might remind you or make you realize that even before people began speaking to each other and people began writing things down, visual communication was already in play. And you would know this to be true when you study ancient hieroglyphics and markings on the caves in prehistoric times. In those early times of our civilization or our existence, people were already drawing things on the walls in caves and tunnels. You know, if you dive into history, you realize that our ancestors, our forefathers, had already started passing across important information visually. That's why even till today, many centuries later, visual communication is still very important, and a lot of organizations are going back to it or making it become the key thing. And even look at social media. Social media now has shown us how important visual communication is. Like, you know, now we have Reels, TikToks. Because audience spans are becoming shorter, people are getting more easily distracted because there's an information overload out there in the society. And it's so important that you are able to grab your viewers' attention, your audience attention, in the multitude of information that your viewer is getting from all kinds of places. You want to be sure that your information is not being missed out. So very important. And so that's why we're going to this topic of visual communication tools for your organization. Visual communication tools that will help your organization in its external communications. So let's dive straight in. We're going to close this and go straight to the first one, which is infographics. So what are infographics? Infographics are visual representations of information, data, or knowledge that condense complex ideas into easily understandable graphics. Infographics are representations of information, data, knowledge that helps to simplify complex ideas into easily understandable graphics. The benefits of these infographics are that infographics help to simplify complex concepts. All right, so that's one good advantage of using infographics. They're good for breaking down complex technical processes or programs. So let's say you have a particular way of doing something in your organization. Maybe you want to teach a new hire, a new staff, or you want to showcase your expertise to the world, and you have a particular technical process of how you do things. You can use an infographic to break it down rather than just writing lines and lines of text. You can use an infographic to make it easier to understand. Infographics are visually appealing, so they help to eliminate boredom. If you have a PowerPoint presentation or a report, rather than having lines and lines of text, if you include an infographic there, it's more engaging and you hold the attention of your audience a little bit longer. They're useful in multiple scenarios. If you want to present statistics and results, if you're a research-based organization or you have generated some data from your activities, you want to present that, you can use infographics. You can use infographics to show processes, all right? Maybe stage by stage, step 1, step 2, step 3, how things were done. You can use infographics to talk about timelines, maybe from the onset of your project, what was the next phase and how did it go along. You want to show a timeline of change, you can use infographics. You can use infographics to do comparisons, so between one concept or another, between one result or another, between one geographical location or another, between one population or another. You can use infographics to show those comparisons. Another advantage of infographics is that they are highly shareable on social media. You want your content to go viral, use infographics. Now let's look at the types of infographics. Types of infographics include, and these are just a few examples, all right? These are not the exhaustive list of the types of infographics. Remember, this is like a short course, a short free course. If you want a more detailed course, we can talk after this program. For instance, we have statistical infographics for showcasing data. We have timeline infographics for historical narratives. You want to show something that happened over time, all right? Maybe how Nigeria has evolved since independence, or maybe how your project started 5 years ago and the various phases. You can use timeline infographics for that. You can use process infographics to explain workflows, just like I said earlier. Other types include like organizational charts and so on. So when you're talking about infographics, you want to look at some design considerations. We'll quickly touch on this very briefly. So the first one is color schemes and brand identity. It's a very good practice to make sure that you maintain consistent color schemes in your infographics. In fact, in all your visual design elements, whatever visual assets you are creating, try to maintain a consistent color scheme. I always advise try not to use more than 2 or 3 colors. If your organization already has its brand colors, try to use those brand colors. Let them be represented in your infographics. And if you do not have your brand colors already, or if you want to be a little bit more creative and you want to have some more creative license, just make sure that you're not using more than 2 or 3 colors, and make sure that they are consistent with your brand identity. Other elements of brand identity include your logos and the type of fonts you use. You have to make sure that you're using those things consistently. The other thing to consider is typography for readability and impact. I also apply the same rule. Less is more. So try to use not more than 2 or 3 fonts in your design. So you can use one font for headers and titles. You can use another font for body text. Other important things to consider when doing data visualization, especially if your infographic is going to have a lot of data, is things like chart selection. Make sure you're using the right chart. Make sure you're using the right icons or a particular type of icon. Make sure your icons are consistent. All right. So if you are using an icon that is like a stick figure, try to use that throughout the design. If you're using something that looks more cartoon-like, make sure you're using that consistently throughout. If you're using something that has a particular shape or feel or texture, make sure you're trying to use that throughout. Another important design element is to use grids and scales. So make sure that you are guiding your design using grids and scales. A lot of design software have grids and scales. Even PowerPoint, which is a very easily accessible design software, which I have used a lot in the past. PowerPoint also has grids and scales. Now, these are lines that you put on the interface of your design, your canvas, that guide you on where to put your design elements to make sure that you're not putting them all over the place and you're not putting them in a very haphazard manner. Another important consideration in design is visual hierarchy. So try to make sure that whatever is the most important information stands out better than the least important information. So if a particular result, maybe you were able to reach 100,000 people with vaccines, try to make sure that if that's the most important thing you want to pass across, make sure that that stands out very well and make sure that it stands out more than other parts. All right. So if you look at well-designed infographics, professionally designed infographics, it's easy to tell from a glance what is the most important information because you're using visual hierarchy to bring it out, to make it stand out. So another way of using visual hierarchy is to use bold fonts, very bold and big fonts for titles, or for important parts of the infographic. So that's why even in PowerPoint, the title section has a very bold font, and then the body text has something else, so that right from a glance, you know what is really important. So that's a concept that I'm just briefly touching on regarding visual hierarchy. So let's look at the distribution channels. How can you distribute your infographics? You can distribute them on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can put them on your company website and blogs, and you can also email them in email newsletters. These are very important distribution channels for sharing your infographics. So let's move to the next one. We're going to look at videos. Now, this is one of my favorites. So video is a powerful medium for storytelling, for product demonstrations, for example, and for conveying messages in a dynamic and engaging way. What are the benefits? Videos help to capture attention very quickly, and they help to capture attention in a more immersive way. They help to evoke emotion. If you watch a very compelling documentary, it can move you to tears. If you watch a very compelling short video about a situation, maybe a humanitarian situation, it can move you to tears because there's so much you're getting from the video. The sight, the sound, there's color, there's everything. There's context. Everything is happening in that video. Also, videos show a higher level of investment. So if you are creating a video about your project or program, it shows the audience that you have invested heavily in this because you have gone the great length of creating a video about your work. So that shows a higher level of investment, and which is good for your credibility and for your authenticity. Great for video-based social media. So the videos you create are also great for visual-based social media like Reels on Instagram, like TikToks, like YouTube Shorts, and so on. So let's look at the types of videos. So we can have explainer videos. Explainer videos are like product demonstrations. So if you have a particular product, like businesses who deal in products, product-based businesses, maybe you have a new skincare product, or you have a new equipment that your company has designed. You can use videos to showcase that. This is very popular on YouTube and Instagram. You can do how-to videos. So you want to show how to do something, just like in infographics, where you want to, showcase and break down a very technical process. You can use infographics. You can also use videos to show how things are done. I've done videos before that showed a nutrition intervention that was being done by a malaria consortium somewhere in Niger State. These are some of the things that videos can showcase. So we can do testimonial videos for trust building. If you have beneficiaries of your project or beneficiaries of your product, you can do testimonial videos. You can do company culture videos for branding. You're trying to showcase the values and the culture of your company. You want to, I've seen some of those videos where maybe a bank like Zenith Bank, First Bank shows a little bit about the behind the scenes and the way the company operates. And so you have an insight into the way the company is structured and the culture and the values that the company holds dear. So you can also do documentaries. This is one of my favorites. Documentaries, because they're beautiful in storytelling. You can use documentaries to showcase impact of the work you've done. And so let's look at some production elements, some production considerations when you're doing videos. So script writing is very important. You have to start with a script. All right. So whatever video you're doing, start with a script, which is just like a narrative of how you want your video to flow. That's a simple way of putting it. So you write a script for your video. What's the first scene talking about, second scene, and what message is each scene carrying? So if you have the opening scene, what message are you trying to pass across, and all of that. So you can do the scripting for the audio, scripting for the video. Very important for you to do scripting. So if you're listening to this tutorial and you want to go into videos, make sure you do some research around scripting or script writing. You can hire people to do it for you, and you can do it yourself. Quality filming techniques are very important. So make sure you educate yourself on the best approach to creating videos and shooting. And if you have some money on your budget, you can also hire a professional to do that for you. And of course, very important, try to make sure that you're editing a video. Editing is so important, and that's why even if you're shooting a video with your Instagram app or TikTok app or Facebook, there are editing features that are there, because everybody knows how important it is for you to edit your video. There are parts you want to cut out. Even this video I'm making right now, there are parts I'm going to cut out because it's not a live video. So there are parts I'll cut out, there are parts I'll leave in, and so on and so forth. So very important for you to make sure that you edit your video to give it a professional touch. Where are some of the places that you can share your video? You can share your videos on YouTube. This video, you're watching it right now, probably on YouTube or on a website. So you can put it on YouTube. You can embed the video in a press release. You can also host your video on corporate sites, your own official or organizational website, your personal website, or you can put it on LinkedIn. All right, these are some of the places that you can share your videos. So let's go to the next, which is Presentations. What are presentations? A presentation is a communication device that relays a topic to an audience in the form of a slideshow or a demonstration or a lecture or a speech. The main feature is that, words and pictures are used to complement each other. So on most presentation templates, you have a section for words, you have a section for pictures, and then you have somebody presenting it with a voice. So it's an interplay of somebody presenting something using words and pictures, and most times with audio. What are the benefits of having a presentation? Presentations are good for effective communication because they improve engagement. They have good visual appeal, so people are eager to see or interested in seeing what you are presenting. It makes what you are presenting real to them visually because they're seeing the pictures and the words playing on the screen. They help to simplify complex information, and they can be very, very persuasive. So if you're trying to pitch something, trying to propose something to an audience, to a stakeholder, a donor, a presentation is a very useful way to go. And another good thing is that they're highly shareable, especially if you use something like PowerPoint or Prezi. You can share these presentations after a lecture, for instance, or after a presentation, you can share them. What are some of the presentation software out there? PowerPoint is very common and PowerPoint is widely used. So PowerPoint is a good one for widespread accessibility. Prezi is another good one. I played around with Prezi a lot in the past, and Prezi is good because it has a more dynamic feel. It gives you a more dynamic visual experience. Other ones include animation software like Create Studio, like Canva, and other ones. You can also create presentations on those. And if you're a Mac user, you can use Keynote. Now let's look at some of the design tips. When you're doing your presentations, if you're going to use animations sparingly. Don't overload your presentation with so many animations. The texts are flying in from this side, the icons are flying in from the other side, and something else is flying in from below. Just try to keep it simple. Use the animations very sparingly. Just like I said when I was talking about infographics, try to use a consistent theme throughout the presentation. So if you're using colors, don't use more than 2 or 3 throughout the presentation. If you're using fonts, don't use more than 2 or 3 fonts during the presentation. If you're using icons, the type of icons you use, let them be consistent. All right. Try to maintain that your brand elements to your logo and all the things, let them be consistently placed throughout the presentation. And also try to include some interactive elements for engagement. So this is where animations come in. Try to bring in some animations. And if you're hosting it on a platform where there can be some interactivity, where someone can click on something and see more information, that is another way of making sure that people are engaged with your content. So what are some of the usage scenarios or the places where you might use presentations? Investor pitches. So you're pitching to somebody to invest in your organization. You're pitching to a donor to donate money for a cause or for a project. You can use presentations. Partnership proposal. So you want to partner with another organization so that you can work together on a particular project. Presentations come in handy. Product launches. You're trying to launch a new product, either a new software or a new physical product or service. You can use presentations. All right, guys. So let's jump into the next one. Quickly move on to the other side of my screen. I hope you're enjoying this Xmind presentation. It's really beautiful. Xmind is a very beautiful way to organize your information. It's very visual and I love it. And in another quick tutorial, I'll probably show you how I use Xmind and the various things you can use Xmind for. Now we have 2 more to go. Let's look at social media graphics. This is a big one. What are they? Social media graphics is essentially representing important information and data in a visual way, purposely for dissemination on social media platforms. This could be an infographic, it could be reviews from your clients on your feed. So maybe you have testimonials, you can put that in a graphic format, or you can just put a photo from a recent activity and put that in a graphic format and put that and use some graphics and shapes and text and put in your company branding, and then you share it on social media. So they come in various forms, and they can demonstrate numbers, text, shapes that are relevant to your business. So that's in a nutshell what social media graphics are. And what are the benefits of social media graphics? Let me close this so that it's less distracting. Now the benefits are, first of all, that social media graphics, they help you to promote your brand. They help to increase visibility and engagement. They show professionalism and credibility. They are highly shareable on social media, so they can actually enhance your social media presence and engagement. If you're looking to increase the number of followers you have, if you're looking to increase the number of comments you have on your social media pages, social media graphics, you can't do without social media graphics in today's world of social media. And those are some of the benefits of using social media graphics. So what are the different types? These are just a few examples. You can do infographics to talk about technical content, like things that are really expert level, kind of content. You can use infographics to show stories of things that are happening in your organization. And you can use social media graphics to share inspirational quotes that your company is generating or that you as an individual you're trying to put across. And you can also create announcements. So if there's a competition, if there's a campaign, if there is a change happening in your organization, you can use social media graphics to announce those things. So those are the different types of graphics. Several more. I'm sure you know that you can do much more. These are just like a brief overview because this is supposed to be a quick, free tutorial. So what are some of the best practices in doing social media graphics? Number one, keep your content timely and relevant. So you have to think about the content you want to put out there. Make sure that it is something that is going to add value to your audience. Make sure it is timely. So if, for instance, you're celebrating an international day, let's say International Labor Day or International Day of the Girl Child, you need to create your graphics in a timely fashion. So if the day is on Friday, create your graphics before Friday so that on Friday and a few days after you can fill up your social media feed with content from that, and not after a month later you now start sharing it. Maintain a consistent aesthetic. Just like the other time when I was talking about infographics and presentations, same thing for social media graphics. Try to maintain a consistent feel. Let it be that when people go to your social media page, they see the same colors throughout, they see the same fonts, the same style. There's another way of just saying that your social media graphics should have a certain style to them so that people will know where it is coming from. If you look at social media graphics from like the World Economic Forum, from WHO, UN, they all have a particular style. And then use hashtags effectively. So after you create your graphics and you post them, remember it's social media. So the way you caption and the way you use hashtags is very important. And we'll now look at the platforms for engagement. So if you're just some recommendations, for high visual impact, you're thinking about using Instagram. Instagram now is more video centric than photo centric. So maybe your graphics, try to see if you can animate your graphics on your social media graphics. And a good tool to do that is Canva. In another tutorial, we'll talk about Canva. You can use Facebook for broad audience reach. Facebook has probably the highest number of users. So you want to also think about using Facebook. And then Twitter for quick updates and trends. Twitter is where you go to learn about new trends, what's happening, what are people talking about in the world. And then you can use that to draw inspiration for your social media graphics. And you can also try to tag into the trends using the correct hashtags and talking about the relevant things. Yeah, so we're now here on the last one, which I included here: books, reports, and white papers. So let's close all these so that you can just take them one by one. Beauty of Xmind. What are they? These are in-depth, highly detailed, authoritative reports or narratives on specific topics. They are more formal publications and are usually backed by research or factual data. They are meant primarily to inform and persuade readers. So this is the more, in quotes, boring stuff, the more serious stuff for the nerds, for the nerdy people, the people who like to read a lot, those guys who go around wearing glasses and love to read. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. So it's for more serious people, more academically oriented people who want to read a little bit more about what your organization is doing. You can incorporate visual communication design principles into creating these kind of documents. What are the benefits of creating these kind of visual communication tools like books, reports, and white paper? Number one, they demonstrate the knowledge and expertise that exists within your organization. When your technical people are writing technical briefs, reports, white paper, books on specific topics, it shows knowledge and expertise. It helps to raise awareness and visibility of your project, of your work, and it can help you to sell an idea, a product, or a service. So if you are campaigning for something, maybe you have a particular lean on campaigning for gender equality or campaigning against gender-based violence, you have a particular philosophy or approach, you can use books, reports, and white papers to take people in depth into that approach and help people to see different ways of doing things. It can help you attract donors and it can help you generate leads. It can help you attract donors because now your donor knows that you really know what you're talking about, and it can help you generate leads because if you put those documents behind a subscription thing whereby people have to send in their emails so they can access your document, then you're now getting people's emails that you can use to follow up for direct marketing. So let's look at some essential things to consider. Number one is that when you're doing your book, report, or white paper, you have to have a good layout, and this is where, this is some of the things I do as a consultant. I help organizations to lay out their documents in a very appealing way or in a way that makes it easy for people to read. All right, so you need to consider readability. Make sure that the documents are not just choked with text, closely packed text, but you are spacing them out and laying them out on the page in a way that invites the reader to read more. And you can also use visual elements to break text monotony. So using photographs, using infographics, using shapes, and using visual hierarchy and other things can just help to change the flow, the feel, so that people's eyes are not tired just reading through lines and lines of text. You can have call outs, you can have pictures, you can have infographics interspersed within documents, so that people enjoy reading your document. You can also embed multimedia for enhanced understanding. So if you're hosting your document online, there are some platforms that allow you to put in a short video, put in some animation while the person is reading. He's coming across all of these visual elements. Talking about white papers, how do you format them? You can go online and look for professional design templates. You can check on Canva. Canva has a host of templates. You can use graphs and charts for data representation. Remember what we said about graphs and charts and infographics? Yes, you can use that. And you can use call out boxes for key information. You've seen this in documents and reports where you have the main paragraph, but then you also have a call out, all right, because you're trying to highlight some important information. This helps your document to be more visually appealing. And then for distribution and marketing, you can use LinkedIn, for B2B sharing, that's business to business sharing, because a lot of times the audience for your white paper or for your reports and documents are other businesses like yours, other competitors or other stakeholders that are in the same space. And LinkedIn is a good place for those kind of organizations to meet and share content with one another. And so you can also put them on your website. You can also include them in an email marketing campaign or email marketing schedule, so that your subscribers are getting your products regularly. So that brings us to the end of this quick tutorial on the five out of many visual communication tools to enhance your organization's external communications. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And if I was a little too fast, I apologize, but I'm trying to keep it short. And I hope it was interesting enough for you to, have a second look, so you can always slide that play head all the way back and start again and pause and reflect and take notes. Enjoy as you will. So if you want to know more about Cognito is an organization that I work with. Cognito is an organization I helped to start, and it's based on visual communication. Let me just close this again, so that you can see. So about Cognito. Cognito is a social enterprise that uses creative communication strategies, knowledge management, capacity building, and technology to address critical development issues. So we have used all of these: capacity building, technology, knowledge management, and visual communication to address issues like gender-based violence, issues like climate change and climate justice. And we help to amplify the impact of development organizations or development programs. And we also help to highlight innovative learnings and use these learnings for improved future programming towards improving the well-being of target populations. So we've worked with several organizations, a variety of organizations. We've consulted for several organizations. Currently, we're doing some work on the Voice project in Nigeria, which is funded by the government of Netherlands and facilitated by Oxfam. So that's just a brief insight. The website is wearecognito.org. This will take you out to the website. This is our website. So we'll quickly go back to what we're looking at. On our social media pages, we're on Twitter as We Are Cognito, we're on Instagram as We Are Cognito, and we're also on YouTube as We Are Cognito. Those are the main social media handles that you'll find us on. Our services include knowledge management, which we're doing right now on the Voice program. Another visual communication we do, like documentaries. We create videos, just like some of the things I was talking about in this tutorial. And for information design, we help organizations create infographics, presentations. We help organizations design documents and reports. And we do capacity building. We love capacity building. So we do a lot of coaching sessions and trainings. And we also consult on various things like health communication, communication for development, things like SBCC, strategic behavior change communication, health advocacy and education, health campaigns. So that's in a nutshell about Cognito. And I hope you check us out, check our website out. We're constantly updating our website to be able to communicate the essence of what we do. So that is the tutorial in a nutshell. 5 communication tools to enhance your organization's external communications. I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching it on LinkedIn, please do the same. And till the next one, have a great day, guys.